the way that cannot be named. Whatever you can put into words is not the whole of it. The moment you name something, you've already left something out. Before it has a name, it is the source of everything. Once it gets a name, it becomes this thing and that thing. A world of separate objects. Look, without wanting anything from what you see. And you notice the space it's all happening in. Look because you want something, and you only notice the things. The same world, different ways of looking. Nothing means anything on its own. Tall only exists because short exists. Kind only means something because unkindness is possible. You didn't invent this. This is just how contrast works. So someone who understands this stops fighting for one side and against the other. They act, but they're not gripping the results. They finish something and let it go, instead of dragging it around afterwards, trying to own it. Strangely, this is what makes things last. The sky doesn't play favorites. Rain falls on the field you planted and the field you didn't. Nobody who actually looked closely at how life works is offended by this. It's not cruelty, it's just no bias. A person who has settled into this stops needing to be someone's favorite too. They give what they have to whoever's in front of them, the same way the sky gives rain. There's a kind of empty space that never runs out. Think of a room. It's only useful because of what isn't there. A cup only holds water because of the hollow part. A doorway only lets you through because of the gap. You are more like that hollow part than you think. Whatever is aware of your thoughts right now isn't made of thoughts. It's the space they're happening in. That space doesn't get tired. It does not fill up. Try to hold your breath forever, and you'll fail. Try to keep a cup filled past the brim, and it will spill. Sharpen a knife past its edge, and it goes dull. Everything that goes to its limit turns into its opposite. So, do the work, then step back. That's not giving up. That's how the sky and the seasons have always operated. Full effort, then rest and repeat. And this for longer than anyone can remember. Picture 30 spokes meeting in a wheel's hub. The wheel only works because of the hole in the middle. A house is only livable because of the empty rooms inside it. What you are isn't the sum of your habits, your opinions, your job title, or the story you tell about your life. Those are the spokes. They are useful, but what you actually are is more like the hub. The still point they're all arranged around. Chasing rare and shiny things wears a person down. Wanting more, faster, is exhausting in a way that having less never is. Someone who has looked inward trusts what they can already see more than what they're told they should want. The highest good is like water. It doesn't fight for the high ground. It finds the low place everyone else avoids and settles there without complaint. And somehow that is exactly where its power comes from. Be like that. Go where you're needed, not where you'll be admired. Say what you mean. Show up on time. Do not force outcomes. Let timing do some of the work. Here's a strange kind of freedom. If there were no fixed you to protect, there would be nothing to be afraid of losing. Praise makes people anxious. Criticism makes people anxious. Both do this because both assume there's a small, fragile self in the room that needs defending. Whoever can hold their whole life, body, name, reputation, everything, a little more loosely than most people can, is, oddly, the safest person around. Not because nothing can touch them, but because they were never as separate from everything else as they assumed. You can't see it, so people call it invisible. You can't hear it, so people call it silent. You can't grab it, so people call it nothing. But notice. Whatever is doing the noticing right now has no shape, no sound, no edges either. And yet here it obviously is, aware, awake, present. You can't define it, but you can't be without it either. The old teachers weren't loud about what they knew. They moved carefully, like someone crossing thin ice. They stayed simple, like wood before it's carved into anything. Muddy water left alone becomes clear on its own. You do not have to force it. You just have to stop stirring it. Let your mind go completely quiet for a moment. Watch how everything that shows up, a thought, a feeling, a plan, rises out of stillness and settles back into it. The way a wave rises out of the ocean and is still always only ocean. Knowing this doesn't make life stop happening. It just means you're no longer only the wave. You're also the water it's made of. A leader nobody notices is the best kind. Next best is one people genuinely like. Worse is one people fear. Worst is one people openly despise. If you do not trust anyone, don't expect anyone to trust you. The finest kind of help looks afterward like it never happened. People just say, "We did that ourselves." When rules are needed to make people kind, it's already a sign that kindness left the room. Real goodness doesn't announce itself. It's the loud, self-conscious kind of virtue that should make you suspicious. Stop trying to look wise. Stop trying to look good. People will actually be fine. Most of what we chase after, like achievement, applause, or being right, looks from a slightly wider view like a child proudly showing off a sandcastle right before the tide comes in. I'm not saying don't build the sandcastle. I'm saying notice you are also the tide, the sand, and the one watching, all at once. Whatever this way, the divine, God, or source, call it what you like, is shaping, forming, and naming, is without itself having a name or form. It gives rise to form without itself being a form. You cannot point to it directly. But everything you can point to is somehow made of it. The way every wave no matter its shape, is entirely made of water. You want to understand where anything begins? Do not look further out. Look closer in. Loud weather doesn't last. The storm blows itself out by the evening. If even the sky can't sustain a tantrum, what makes you think you can force your way through anything? Match your pace to what's actually happening, not to what you insist should be happening. And most of your struggle disappears on its own. Standing on tiptoe, you can't hold your balance for long. Bragging about your steps doesn't get you further down the road. Trying to look impressive is its own kind of exhausting, and everyone can tell. Before anything existed, something was already whole, quiet, complete, without edges, without a name. Call it the way, God, Source, the Divine, for a lack of better word. It is the mother of everything that has since been born, including whatever you think of as you. To understand people, look at the earth they live on. To understand the earth, look at the sky above it. To understand the sky, look at what holds it all together. To understand that, look without flinching at yourself. A person who really knows what's going on doesn't need to leave footprints. They help without needing thanks. They speak without needing to win. And they give without keeping score. They see a difficult person the way a good teacher sees a struggling student. Not as an enemy, but as unfinished work, which, if you're honest, is what all of us still are. You can't hold onto the whole universe and manage it like a project. Everything alive resists being gripped that way. Grip it and it slips. Control it and it breaks. There is a time to lead and a time to follow. A time for effort and a time for rest. A time to be strong and a time to fold. None of this needs your permission. It was already moving before you got here. True strength doesn't need to prove anything by winning. Someone who has actually won something real doesn't celebrate it like a victory. They treat it more like a funeral because they know exactly what it cost on both sides. Whatever this way is, it has no name of its own. And yet, nothing manages without it. Streams do not need to be told to flow toward the ocean. They just do, because that's already their nature, not a rule imposed from outside. You are not as separate from that current as your daily to-do list makes it seem. Knowing other people well, that's intelligence. Knowing yourself, that's something closer to wisdom. Overpowering others takes force. Meeting yourself honestly takes something quite rarer. Whoever knows they already have enough is, in the way that actually matters, wealthy. Fine words aren't always true words. True words aren't always the one that sounds impressive. People who are sure they are right usually aren't interested in learning anything else. People still genuinely curious rarely insist they've already arrived. Something soft, water, breath, attention itself can wear down something hard over enough time. Nothing forces this. It just keeps showing up gently, and it doesn't quit. If you're looking for where real power hides, stop at looking at the people shouting the loudest. Look at what keeps flowing quietly underneath everything, long after the noise has stopped. Imagine a small life, well lived, good food, honest work, people nearby you actually love, nothing you're desperately chasing, nowhere you're in a rush to be. You can hear your neighbor's life going on just across the way, and you're at peace with it, because you were never as separate from them as it looked from inside your own head. And in the end, the wisest people don't hoard what they've learned. They give it away, and somehow have more left than when they started, which tells you something about what they were made of all along. The sky helps without asking anything back. That's not a rule to follow. It's just what's true. Once you stop insisting, there's no wall between you and it. The words stop here, but the space they happened in doesn't. You don't have to hold on to any of this, or carry it around like a lesson to remember. Just let the sound fade. Let the heavy lifting of being a separate person drop for a second. Notice what is left when the noise stops. No dividing lines, no walls to defend, just this quiet moment happening all on its own. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.